Hello, lovers. Welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast, hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly, and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between, and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in, because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. I feel like I just need to take a breath. In fact, let's all take a collective big breath in and a big sigh out. Okay, here we go. Hello, loves. Welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast, season 2. Let's go. All right. So you have probably been wondering where we've been at. It's been a long time. It's been over a month. A lot has happened in that time. There's been a lot of shifts. A lot of things have unraveled. A lot of things are continuing to unravel. And things are taking me personally in so many different directions right now. I literally said to a friend the other day, I feel like I'm in a high-speed Formula One car and the brakes have been cut and I'm just barreling down a hill at full speed. Yes, that is an accurate reflection of how I'm feeling right now with lots of things. But it's all positive. I don't want that to sound like a negative. It is all positive. But before I dive into that any deeper, I do obviously want to address the elephant in the room, because you're probably wondering, there's only one voice here. Where's Danny? Where's Danny at? Where's my bestie? So yes, I'm sure Danny is going to post something on the stories on the gram and have her say, because I don't want to speak for her, obviously. But we've been discussing the podcast in this time off, thinking about what direction we want to take it in, whether we want to continue pursuing it. And overall, Danny, I feel like she feels like she's ready to move on from it. I think she's happy with where she's left it and she's happy to move on, and rightfully so. Her focus needs to be elsewhere right now. She wants to send her focus towards her family, which I 100% respect. There's lots of exciting things happening in her family and also lots of exciting things happening in her business. So I think it's well right that she offers that time to those things that need her focus, that need her attention. And then for me personally, I have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes in developing, I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a real icky point of healing right now where I'm figuring a lot of stuff out. And there's a lot of momentum pushing me in a particular direction that I did not expect. And I'm just thinking, okay, let's just go with it. And with the podcast itself, I just feel like I'm not done. I feel like I'm not done. I don't feel like I've said it loud enough. I don't feel like I've reached enough people. I don't think I've encouraged enough people to take up space, to grow, transform, and heal, which was the original message of the Butterfly Effect season 1, which of course is being carried into season 2 and beyond. I don't feel like I've reached enough people yet. And I don't feel like I've said everything. I've got so much fire in my belly. I've got so much I want to say, so much I want to share. And yeah, I think I'm so proud of what Danny and I created so far with the Butterfly Effect. And actually the fact that whilst we've been taking time off, people have still been listening. People have still been messaging the Instagram. People are still wanting to share their stories. I have had some incredible stories come through, some guest invitations as well. And whilst I'm going to kind of slowly find my feet with this new direction and with being a solo podcaster, crikey, that feels... I'm like internally screaming, my goodness. I'm going to allow some time to find my feet, but I really do want to be a space where women can share their stories, because everyone has a story. And I think I figured this out with my coach literally this week, where I was kind of diluting my story. I was not legitimizing my story, because I was saying something like, well, everyone's got a story like this. Everyone has been through something like this. But again, not enough people talk about it. And I think this podcast in itself, and me showing up here and continuing to show up and continuing to use my voice and encouraging others to use their voice, is a real act of self-respect. Because if you think about it, so if you're employed, if you have a boss, your boss will tell you like, okay, you need to be at work at 7 a.m. So you will get up and you will go to work at 7 a.m. And say if you work in like hospitality or something, and I think I saw this originally on an Instagram reel, and say that boss then asks you to go take the bins out, which is a job that no one likes to do, but you do it because that is your job. You go and take the bins out. And that is you showing respect to your boss, to that person who's in a higher authority to you. You do that, okay? Even though we don't perhaps like it, even though perhaps we don't really want to do it, or perhaps we're not sure, or perhaps sometimes we wish we were doing something else, but you do it. And I have made several promises to myself this year, and I am showing myself that self-respect in keeping those promises, in keeping that promise to show up, to dive into new ideas, to dive into new opportunities, and continue using my voice. Lots of you know I have been on a journey with my voice over the past, gosh, it's now nearly like a year and a half. I want to use my voice because people are listening more than you think. People want to listen. Sometimes I think when I'm delivering a yoga class that, they're probably in their own head. Their thoughts are probably taking them in a completely different direction. They're probably not listening to what I'm saying at all. But still, I say it because even if there's just one person listening in, that one person is going to receive so much in that moment. And also there's a case that letting their ears just absorb what's needed and everything else can just kind of fade into the background. So even if they're not actively listening in the moments, there might be moments after the practice when they've left the studio and actually like, wow, what was said there was what I really needed to hear. So again, I feel like this is just another space where I can share my learnings, my journey, share others' journeys, others' healings, others' learnings, and keep this momentum going. Whew. Okay, wow, that was a lot. I don't know how long that was. I feel like that was probably about 5 minutes of just like almost like word vomiting everywhere. But this is where we're at. Season 2. Let's go. Okay. And I think what I really want to speak about a little bit more in this episode is the act, again, of that self-respect and the act of giving yourself permission. Okay. Because for so long, I didn't give myself permission to do the things that I really wanted to do. And it comes back to one of my words of the year, agency. It comes back to having that sense of agency over your own life, your own autonomy, and again, keeping these promises to yourself. If there's something you want to do, if there's a particular goal, if there's a particular dream, no matter how big or small, giving yourself that permission to move towards it and trusting that every small step that you are taking is moving towards that goal, that dream, whatever it is. But again, we just shy away from it so much. And yes, that happens for multiple reasons. One of the reasons I have held myself back is imposter syndrome. Because especially with the podcasts nowadays, they are literally like an entire film production where like almost there's literally a producer, there's a director, there's videographers, and then there's the podcast hosts themselves. Like they have a team around them. Literally, this is just me in my living room, in my trackies. I've literally just wolfed down some jam and toast and had a cup of tea, and I've put my camera up and then I'm like, let's go. But to be honest, that's what I always loved in season 1, when Danny and I would just kind of rock up and just, put the mics on and see what happened. And also, I've literally just noticed I'm literally wearing the mic tied around my neck using a little macrame cord because I didn't like how it was sitting on my t-shirt. Again, scrappy, messy, like that's where we're at. And again, I don't want things to come across too polished. I don't want things to come across too clean, too pretty, because that's not a true reflection of life and the steps it took to get me here. Yes, so we are embracing the messiness and the magic that brings too. But yes, giving myself that permission to show up and honoring the agency I have over my own life, over my own decisions. Because for so long, I have hidden behind someone else. I hid behind the person that I was in a relationship with. And even in business, there have been moments where I've hid behind other people. And I'm so aware of this. I know that I'm doing it. But again, it's just because I haven't ever given myself that permission to take up space. And I know that this is something I talk about so much in classes. I literally have these key phrases, these words that I know I repeat, but I feel like, again, sometimes they don't quite sink in until they're repeated about 10 million times. Like, you are worthy of this space. You are worthy of your voice being heard, your voice being listened to. And it's not just that, your ideas, your imagination, your creativity, they are all worthy of space. But again, we hold ourselves back from so much because of imposter syndrome and because of a fear of being seen. That's, again, the other case for me. I have a massive fear of being seen and to be seen trying. Because when you're trying something new, especially in the online world, so many people are going to see this. Like, your family and friends are perhaps going to see this. And then, yeah, everyone's going to have an opinion. But it's accepting that their opinion doesn't necessarily matter. The only opinion and the only thing that matters to you is your own opinion and your own experience. Because that's what it comes back to time and time again. And this is literally everything I try to share in a yoga class. And it's so nice having a space now where I can share this in a podcast format and hope that it still reaches, again, the people that it needs it most, and trusting that it will reach the people that need it most. So take this episode as me giving you that permission slip. Not necessarily that you need it, but I do feel like when you see women, like taking the women that inspire me right now, obviously Florence Given, we all know that I love her, taking Grace Beverly, like seeing them show up and use their voices so loudly, they are all giving you permission slips, and you can trace it back. You can trace who gave you that permission slip to do a certain thing. So, for instance, in me doing this podcast episode, Danny gave me the green light to continue this and pursue it on my own. And then before that, Florence Given, seeing her content, was giving me more permissions for my voice to take up space. And then before that, it's my family wanting me to win and like encouraging me to pursue my goals, my dreams. Yes, there has been a series of people giving me permission, but the final puzzle piece that's missing is me giving myself that permission. And this is what's happening right now. And in me giving myself that permission to do this, to continue this podcast, is going to give you the permission to do whatever it is that you want to do. Oh my goodness. This is a challenge. Yes, this is probably one of my biggest challenges yet. And I'm also a big fan of pushing myself out of my comfort zone. This is so far past my comfort zone. I don't even know what my comfort zone looks like anymore. It's really hard to continue like organizing my thoughts because, again, I have so much to share and I have so much that I want to say on this podcast, on this platform, that everything is kind of just tumbling out of my mouth right now. I'm hoping at some point I will be able to organize my thoughts and maybe communicate a little bit more clearly, but bear with me, guys. This is as scrappy and as messy as it gets, but we're just going to embrace the fuck out of it, all right? So, what am I here to do? I am here to encourage you to take up that space, to find that permission, that sense of agency within yourself, to encourage you to spread your wings and fly and soar to whatever height that you wish to. Again, the original message of the butterfly effect still stands: grow, transform, heal. And honestly, I can see where this could go so clearly. And I had these ideas for so long in the back of my mind, for literally years. But again, it's only now that I'm starting to give myself the permission for these ideas to take up space. And I have always loved creating. I've been creating all the while. If I literally think back to my university days, I always loved, so I did a couple of dance degrees. I did a MA in dance performance and choreography. And what I loved most about that wasn't necessarily the performing. I loved the choreography. I loved creating. I loved putting pieces together and then having it performed or displayed on a stage or in a film, video format. I loved making films. I love making content. And my coach is talking to me about, content creation and encouraging me to do more of that. And actually, it's realizing that a lot of the stuff that I want to do, I'm already doing already, but I just haven't yet stepped into that role. So again, it's all happening live. You're literally witnessing me trying to step into roles, trying on different hats. And it's scary as anything because I don't know how it's going to be received. People might think it's silly. But I just have to try. I have to give these things a go. Yeah, so I just hope in me trying, in seeing me trying, in seeing me, I don't know, use my voice. I just hope it gives others the inspiration to try it as well. So I suppose if you are listening to this rumble, this waffle, I am so appreciative. Thank you so much for giving me your time, however much time this ends up being. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter, but there's so much more to come. Please believe me when I say that there is so much more to come. There are so many stories I want to share, not just from myself, but other people's stories that I cannot wait to bring to you. So thank you so much for bearing with me, with us, as we kind of figured things out behind the scenes. I'm hoping you're going to stick by me as we move towards this different direction, but still holding on to the original message, okay? Grow, transform, heal, and be in awe of your own transformation, the messiness, the magic, all of it, because there is so much to be found in even the small mundane moments, the small quiet moments, as well as the big moments of discovery, of enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. There is so much to be found, and I just can't wait to discuss it all. So there's going to be moments where I share more behind the scenes of my own story. There's going to be moments where I hopefully bring guests on. I've got a couple guests in mind. I just need to figure out the tech side of things. And what's also going to happen is that I have other things up my sleeve to help me branch out to this online world. There's going to be access to online class content, not just yoga classes, but maybe meditations, maybe visualizations. Oh my goodness, like there is so much, and I can't wait to just let it all spill out of my body, of my being, of my brain, because for a good few months now, it's all been kind of overlapping. It's just all been noise in my head. So I'm hoping that through this, it's going to slowly unravel and unfold. And I really can't wait to just, share it all. So right, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful rest of your Wellness Wednesday. Oh goodness, I actually need to check with Danny whether I'm still okay to post on Wellness Wednesdays, as obviously that's originally her thing. Maybe I have to make it like a Freaky Friday or a Tasty Tuesday. Hopefully she allows me to keep the Wellness Wednesday going. But have a gorgeous rest of your day, and I'll hopefully see you next week with another new episode. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Mwah.